The wind howled through the pines. A low, mournful wail that rattled the loose shingles on my cabin's roof. It was 2 a.m. and I was awake, staring at the ceiling, the kind of awake that burns your eyes and makes your chest tight. The power had flickered out again, 3rd time this week. My fridge hummed silent, the single bulb above my sink dead. Out here, in the middle of nowhere, Montana, the only thing louder than the wind was the absence of electricity. I sighed, long and heavy, the kind of sigh that carries the weight of a life you didn't sign up for. I'd moved to this cabin to escape the city, the noise, the people, but the HOA God. The HOA followed me like a bad dream, and at the center of that nightmare was Karen. Karen. The name alone made my jaw clench. She was the self-appointed queen of Pine Hollow, our little cluster of cabins masquerading as a community. 50-something, with a perm that looked like it was styled by a lawnmower and a voice that could curdle milk. Karen ruled with her clipboard and her rules. No loud music. No unapproved paint colors. No stepping out of line. I'd ignored her for the most part, kept my head down, fixed my own leaks, and chopped my own firewood. But tonight, something felt wrong. The air smelled sharp, like ozone after a lightning strike. And there was a faint hum outside, not from the wind, but something mechanical pulled on my boots, the leather stiff and cold against my socks, and grabbed a flashlight. The beam cut through the darkness as I stepped onto the porch, the wooden boards creaking under my weight. The night was black as tar, the kind of dark that swallows you whole. I scanned the yard, the beam bouncing off the skeletal branches of the cottonwoods. That's when I saw a thick, black extension cord snaking across the frost-crusted grass, leading from my outdoor outlet to the edge of my property. My heart kicked up a notch, a dull thud in my chest. Someone was stealing my power. I followed the cord, my breath puffing out in clouds, the cold biting at my knuckles. It led straight to Karen's cabin, her perfect little A-frame with its manicured flower beds and tacky garden gnomes. The cord disappeared under her porch, where a faint glow pulsed from a basement window. My blood boiled. This wasn't just a petty HOA violation. This was theft. Brazen, in-your-face theft. I crouched low, the damp earth soaking into my jeans, and peered through the window. There she was, Karen, in a pink velour tracksuit, hunched over a space heater, its coils glowing red. A tangle of cords connected to a mini-fridge, a TV blaring some late-night infomercial. And God help me, a tanning bed. A tanning bed. In Montana. In February. I stood up, my hands shaking, not from the cold but from the rage bubbling up like a pot left too long on the stove. I wanted to scream, to bang on her door and demand answers. But I didn't. Not yet. I needed proof. I needed to catch her red-handed. So I waited, crouching in the dark, the wind stinging my face, the faint buzz of her stolen electricity mocking me. That's when I heard the crunch of gravel. Not from Karen's cabin, but from the woods behind me. I froze, my breath catching in my throat. The flashlight beam darted toward the sound, catching a glimpse of something Simonian moving between the trees. A shadow, tall and lanky, carrying what looked like a toolbox. My stomach twisted. Was Karen working with someone? I ducked behind a stump, my heart hammering so loud I swore it'd give me away. The figure moved closer, their boots crunching louder now, and I caught a whiff of cigarette smoke, sharp and acrid. It wasn't Karen. It was Mitch, the maintenance guy for Pine Hollow. Mitch, with his greasy ponytail and permanent scowl, who'd always seemed a little too cozy with Karen at HOA meetings. I watched as he slipped under Karen's porch, fiddling with the cords, muttering under his breath, "Damn thing's gonna blow if she keeps this up." He growled, his voice low but clear in the still night. Blow. My mind raced. Was she overloading the circuit, risking a fire? I clenched my fists, the flashlight digging into my palm. This wasn't just about my electric bill anymore. This was dangerous. I crept back to my cabin, my mind spinning. I could confront her now. But what would that get me? A screaming match. Another fine from the HOA for disturbing the peace. No, I needed a plan. I spent the rest of the night pacing, the floorboards groaning under my steps, the smell of stale coffee lingering in the air. By dawn, I had it. I catch her in the act, on camera, and take it to the HOA board. Let her try to talk her way out of that. The next night, I set up a cheap trail cam I'd bought for spotting deer, positioning it to catch Karen's porch and the cord. I waited, my nerves frayed, sipping whiskey to take the edge off. The wind was quieter tonight, but the air still carried that ozone tang, like a storm was brewing. At 1:47 a.m., my phone buzzed with a motion alert. I grabbed it, my pulse racing. And there she was on the grainy footage, Karen, sneaking out to check the cord. Her flashlight beamed jittery as she looked around. Got you, I thought, a grim smile tugging at my lips. But I didn't stop there. I followed her the next night, and the night after that, each time catching more footage. Karen wasn't just stealing power, she was hoarding it. Her basement was a shrine to excess. Electric blankets, a second fridge, even a damn hot tub humming away, all powered by my outlet. My bill had spiked $200 last month, and now I knew why. The rage was a living thing now, clawing at my chest. But I kept it leashed. I had to be smart. Then came the twist. On the fourth night, as I reviewed the footage, I saw Mitch again. But this time he wasn't fixing cords. He was siphoning gas from my generator. My generator. The one I kept for emergencies. For when the power went out for days. I leaned back in my chair, the wood creaking, a bitter laugh escaping my lips. Karen wasn't just a thief, she was running a whole operation, with Mitch as her lackey. I could have gone to the cops right then, but Pine Hollow was small, and the sheriff was Karen's cousin. No, this had to be public. Humiliating. Final. The HOA meeting was 3 days later, held in the community center that smelled like mildew and regret. I sat in the back, my laptop loaded with footage, my hands sweaty but steady. Karen was at the front, her clipboard in hand, droning on about mailbox regulations. The room was packed with neighbors, their faces tired, their eyes glazed over. I waited until she opened the floor for new business. Then I stood. Karen, I said, my voice cutting through the murmurs like a knife. I've got something to show everyone. Her eyes narrowed, that smug smile faltering. I plugged my laptop into the projector, and the room went silent as the first clip played. Karen, sneaking across my yard, plugging in her cord. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The next clip showed her basement, the glowing excess of it all. Then Mitch, stealing my gas. The room erupted, voices overlapping, chairs scraping. Karen's face went white, then red, her mouth opening and closing like a fish on a hook. You can't do this, she shrieked, her voice cracking, the clipboard clattering to the floor. This is private property. You're spying. The crowd wasn't having it. Old Mrs. Hensley, who'd been fined by Karen for her unapproved bird feeder, stood up, shaking her fist. You're a thief, Karen, she yelled. Others joined in, their voices rising, a chorus of pent-up frustration. I felt it too, the release, the justice, like a weight lifting off my chest. But Karen wasn't done. She lunged for the projector, trying to unplug it, her nails scratching at the cords. I stepped in front of her, calm but firm. Sit down, Karen, I said, my voice low, the kind of low that makes people listen. She froze, her eyes wild, and for a moment, I saw something in them, fear, maybe, or shame. Then she screamed, a raw, guttural sound that echoed in the room, and stormed out, the door slamming behind her. The fallout was swift. The HOA board, embarrassed and cornered, voted to remove Karen as president. Mitch was fired, his toolbox confiscated. My power bill was reimbursed, and the board issued a public apology, posted on the community bulletin board for all to see. I walked back to my cabin that night, the air crisp, the stars sharp against the black sky. The wind carried the faint scent of pine and freedom. I didn't need to escape anymore. I fought, and I'd won. But as I sat on my porch, the glow of my single bulb casting shadows, I thought about Karen's scream. It wasn't just anger. It was the sound of someone who'd built her world on control, only to watch it crumble. Part of me pitied her, but only part. Justice doesn't always feel good, but it feels right. And out here, in the quiet of my cabin, with the hum of my own power back where it belonged, that was enough.